On today's Smart 7, the Archbishop of Canterbury weighs in on the migrant bill, Trump's presidency run hangs in the balance, and lots more. It's Thursday the 11th of March, it's National Technology Day, and happy birthday Holly Frazier.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
The government's controversial Stop the Boats bill has felt the wrath of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Justin Welby attacked the proposed legislation, which will effectively bar anyone who arrives illegally from claiming asylum in the UK, and warned it risks damaging Britain's reputation at home and abroad. Speaking in the House of Lords, he warned the bill wouldn't stop the boats coming and stressed the need for safe and legal routes.
It is a siloed bill, not a whole-of-government bill. It does not draw in conflict management and prevention, which drives migration. It does not draw in climate impacts, which drive migration and conflict. It is isolationist. It is morally unacceptable.
However, Home Secretary Suella Braverman urged peers to get behind the legislation and not block the will of the people. Home Office peer Lord Murray laid out the government case.
We must stop the boats. This bill, in conjunction with the other steps the government is taking, is a necessary, urgent and indeed compassionate response to the daily challenge posed to the integrity of our immigration system.
Justin Welby wasn't alone in his opposition, though, with Baroness Pressure arguing that the bill doesn't align with the values of Britain.
My lords, it is not the values of those seeking asylum here which are at odds with the values. It is this bill which is at odds with the values of our country.
Fresh from the bruising results of last week's local elections, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was back at the dispatch box on Wednesday and under pressure from all sides. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer seized the moment to gloat, attacking the PM over the cost of living crisis and criticising his handling of the ever-worsening inflation situation.
Up and down the country, people want the government to focus on the cost of living, but he's got no answers. Is he planning to carry on as if nothing happened and ignore the message he was sent last week?
But Rishi hit back, accusing the Labour leader of not having a plan to solve the cost of living crisis.
Perhaps they could start with reducing council tax to the level in Conservative-run areas. But, Mr. Speaker, we're getting on with halving people's energy bills, freezing fuel duty to help them with the cost of living. What is stopping him having a plan?
In Ukraine, Russian forces have been pushed back by up to 2 kilometres in Bakhmut amid the start of the new counter-offensive. Colonel General Alexander Syrskyi, who heads Ukraine's ground forces, made the comments in a post on the encrypted messaging app Telegram. And the leader of the Azov movement, Andriy Beletsky, gave an update about the situation on the ground.
This whole territory is liberated from Russian occupational forces. To the fighters of the 3rd Assault Brigade, it's a great honour for me to fight next to you.
Meanwhile, NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg claims Russia underestimated the Ukrainian army and its NATO allies when invading the country.
We have to remember that this was a war that President Putin planned to win within days, and now they have been in Ukraine for 15 months and they have suffered heavy casualties. And this just demonstrates the big strategic mistake it was by President Putin.
It's been a tough week for Donald Trump, and it's only Thursday. Tuesday saw him found liable for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll in a department store in Manhattan in 1995 or 1996. He's also been ordered to pay almost $5 million in damages for the abuse and defaming the former Elle magazine columnist. But for Ms. Carroll, it's not about the money.
I'm overwhelmed with joy and happiness and delight for the women in this country.
Wednesday night saw him as guest of honour on a CNN town hall as the leading candidate for the Republican presidential nomination. And CNN's Caitlin Collins had a tough time getting him to stick to the truth with an audience that seemed mainly made up of Trump supporters.
And when we can't make a call to question election results, then this country ought to just forget about it.
You weren't just questioning the election results.
I was questioning the election.
You were asking him to find you votes. And I should note that there is no evidence of fraud. There is no rigged election in the state of Georgia. I want to get back to the audience, though, Mr. President, because those are false claims you're making about what happened in Georgia.
Still to come on the Smart 7, it's a Milan special in the Champions League, and Arnie's back again. Right after this. Welcome back.
3,
Wednesday saw the second Champions League semi-final first leg. This time, two Italian giants came face-to-face as AC Milan took on Inter Milan. Even though it was technically an away game for Inter, they comfortably won 2-0 and take a huge advantage into the second leg. A man who scored 13 goals in the Champions League but never won it is Peter Crouch. Now he's got an Amazon Prime documentary coming out called That Peter Crouch Film, and it turns out it wasn't all plain sailing. He tells us how he was ridiculed for being different and how his journey to the top was filled with self-doubt and stumbling blocks.
At the start, the only thing that made him stand out was he looked weird, and now he's almost a national treasure.
When Peter's on fire and he's at it, defenders and teams find him really difficult to deal with. There's never a dull moment when Crouch is in the room.
Priyanka Chopra isn't short of admirers, but the Bollywood stars had a few scary encounters too. The Citadel actress made her Howard Stern debut, where she candidly discussed her childhood and some of the lengths her father went to keep her safe. She's all loved up with hubby Joe Jonas now, but Priyanka explained to Howard why her dad put bars on her windows when she was a teenager.
When I went back to India and I was in this small town and I was peacocking like I peacocked in my American high school, I had boys follow me home, and one of them jumped into my balcony. And that's why my dad was like, "F this."
He's back, like he always is, and we wouldn't expect any less from Arnold Schwarzenegger. The bodybuilder turned actor turned politician turned climate activist has his very own documentary coming out. The 3-part Netflix series chronicles Arnold Schwarzenegger's life and his journey from rural Austria to one of Hollywood's most popular movie stars ever. Arnold premieres on June the 7th, but you can catch the trailer right now.
It was very tough on my marriage, on my relationship with the kids. I have caused enough pain for my family. I'm gonna have to live with it the rest of my life.
Why did you give up?
Well, because my vision didn't talk about giving up. My vision was climbing that mountain.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Balancing the needs of your business and your employees has never been more important. Do both with Concur Expense. Speed up your finance processes, ensure compliance, and pay your employees on time when you automate your expenses. And with a handy mobile app, your teams can work from anywhere while focusing on what matters most, the bottom line. Move your business forward with SAP Concur Solutions. Visit concur.com to learn more.